Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. Don't forget to follow me on social media. There's a link in the description below. And a very big thank you to everyone who leaves a like on every video to help out the algorithm. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. And I want to say an unsurprising turn of events. I've mentioned over the last couple of weeks, and I know once again, the markets are all over the place just because no one really knows what the next couple of months and even or the end of the year are going to hold. It is quite spectacular, I must say, that despite everything going on or the relative uncertainty as far as like we are not yet in the euphoric phase, just how optimistic still that people are about the cryptocurrency market. I mentioned a video or two ago. I think the cryptocurrency market will do well. Like I think we're poised to have an amazing rest of the year. It's just more of a getting over the current uncertainty as we continue on with the year. This should come as absolutely no surprise. This made incredibly popular news. It looks like a number of numbers have actually been adjusted, but that does make a lot of sense. You'll also see a lot of the numbers we've been seeing. This was maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't remember. In some other video. And once again, I know I say that often, but I also say this in real life as well. And I think that people think it's interesting that I keep saying that. I always have a reference for something that took place, but my mind is like all over the charts, and I can't figure out the exact time that something happened. We were talking about expectations for Bitcoin's price over the course of this year. And a number of analysts, once again, the current number is that we are going to at least hit $250,000 over the course of this year. We had a couple of analysts stating that about a week and a half ago, somewhere around there, roughly around the same time. They were saying despite everything taking place, they're fairly certain that by the end of the year, the market will have already picked back up and that we will at least see a $250,000 Bitcoin. This is a smidge, if you will, away from the $500,000 to $1 million Bitcoin price predictions that we were seeing. But $250,000 does seem realistic, if you will. It says XRP could rise about 200% from its current level by year's end. This is according to Standard Chartered, which initiated coverage on the asset on Tuesday. The native token of the XRP ledger and fourth largest crypto by market cap could hit $5.50 a piece by the end of this year, the bank's digital assets researcher Jeff Kendrick said in a note. The numbers we were getting before, like I said, we're seeing different numbers, but still relatively optimistic. For cryptocurrency prices, the base line that we were receiving more or less was for a $10 to $15 XRP. This bank is stating that by the end of this year, we should see around $5.50. This seems incredibly low comparative to the previous all-time high, especially for all the things that have actually been going on. I'm glad I'm not the only one noticing this as well. I don't remember the username on Twitter, but someone like broke it down. This was a couple of days ago. They were talking about for every coin. It wasn't just XRP. It was across the board. They were going over Bitcoin, how many new mining operations there are, how high the hash rate is compared to 2021. The brand new institutions, it was a crazy looking chart. I'll see if I can find it. All the new institutions have gotten to the space, how much they've accumulated. And basically, they were trying to mathematically figure out exactly how high we should be in price just with all of that news. And it was one of those, we should currently be above 200,000, but you know, dramatic market uncertainty. We're also talking about XRP as well and all the partnerships. And I appreciate the idea of $5.50, but I think a lot of this has to do with market timidity and people basically not really knowing where things are going to be by the end of this year. But 550 seems incredibly low, especially with what was that thing that just happened? Ripple just bought some like money transmitter company for like $1 billion something, and people think that alone will add another $5 or $6 to XRP price. XRP is decentralized, yada yada yada. Yeah, and I don't really have to dig too much more into it. The article is kind of long, but they're talking about by the end of this year what we could see for a number of coins in the market. I assume we're going to get more news like this in the coming days as far as like newly smoothed out cryptocurrency price predictions. I'm still holding strong that by summer we will have a full reversal of all the negativity that we've been seeing, but we just kind of need to really get over this entire idea of tariffs and whatnot right now, and then I think the markets in general will do extremely well. Yeah, there's a couple of these flying around, but Standard Chartered, as we've heard about them and from them before, about cryptocurrency prices, this was the current most popular one floating around. Yeah. That's the XRP at $5.50 by the end of the year news. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in the news, I'm not sure if we were supposed to clap at this or think that it was something special in some sort of way. It says, according to a local report, the South Korean crypto market is trying to attract foreign investors, expanding opportunities for international participation. During a seminar on Wednesday at the National Assembly, the Foreign Financial Services Commission crypto head acknowledged the need to promote foreign investors' participation in the domestic crypto market. So the problem is, for those of you who haven't been here for a while or just don't remember a couple of years ago, a number of countries who were all threatening to outright ban cryptocurrencies and then to regulate it at some point, and South Korea is one of them, so is Japan, kind of have like a gigantic stronghold on the cryptocurrency market. One of the ways that they decided to do so was by restricting like which coins could even be in the country. If you remember, we've talked about like which people call the kimchi premium or other things like that revolving around Bitcoin. It's literally because certain countries, you're only allowed 7-8 different cryptocurrencies within the country. And also there were restrictions by the cryptocurrency exchanges and by the government as to how much could be bought at a certain time. And it was all these other stupid things. So of course, at some point they end up running out of the finite crypto, and then prices end up going a lot higher there. A lot of countries have also, I don't know why would you do this? Like there's such, the policies that people make up are so nonsensical, and I wonder how they even got in charge in the first place. There were a lot of different countries trying to restrict like people who weren't born in that country or who didn't have a whatever kind of permit or a visa from doing business in that country as well. But this is also why we have a lot of different countries who have like a declining birth rate, because they thought that it was a smart idea to make sure that no one could move there. It's like no one thinks about the future. It's just right now and trying to like appease no one around you, not realizing that this will cause in the future so much economic harm to your country. So now they're trying to figure out a way to like make like policies a lot better and to attract people who are cryptocurrency and foreign, if you will, crypto investors to their borders. But it's like I said this years ago. It's the same exact thing with Nigeria. Why would anyone think of doing business in your country when you took the guy from Binance and you were holding him, what was it, 3, 4, 5 something months or like that? Why would I think of potentially even doing business in your corrupt country? If I know that you have high taxes, why would I think of why? Why would I go there? There's so many other places that have great cryptocurrency policies. Was it oh gosh. Was it New Hampshire? I don't remember. There was some state in the United States. This was a couple of days ago. They announced they put forth a bill that's basically going to, over the course of a month, investors can spend and also sell, I think it was $10,000 worth of Bitcoin a month, completely tax-free. You know what that does? That causes people to want to move to your state and do business there. Why would, if you've spent the last 7-8 years now making sure that your policies were absolutely terrible, if I moved there, if I set up shop, at what point might you do the same exact thing again? Do you know why why China has seen a huge amount of capital flight in the last like 10 to 15 years? You might believe one thing, but what's actually going on, and it has been happening for a while, is that basically people figured out that they can make a lot of money in China. Got it. The secondary part is that these people were like, okay, cool. Let's start pulling money out of some of these companies, or like our profits, and like sending it overseas. China realized what was going on, and they started like restricting how much money people could like actually take out of the country. And it caused people to, decide not to set up business there, or whoever was doing business there, to slowly over multiple years wind down operations and then not want to do business there at all. A lot of what's happening and why you see so much like energy and fervor around like China within China is because of like, the word's not propaganda, but because like they basically realized years ago, like, okay, we don't have as much foreign investment as we thought we were going to get. So they kind of hype their own people up to like, hey, create things. Hey, do this. Hey, have more kids. Hey, blah, blah. Because they realized that like they pushed everyone out for so long, you have no one else to lean on but yourself. It's so crazy. We were talking, this was like a year ago. Remember, we were talking about people like investing in diamonds and investing in art. China has one of the largest art markets in the world, only after the US. And that's because people have been figuring out ways how to get their money out of that country for a long time. I mean, like, it's absolutely logical. So as we continue to see, this is why I said before, a lot of the crypto policies, even within the United States, I'm waiting for like something big. It's cool that the SEC is like, get a lawsuit, but I'm waiting for something that's going to like actually want to drag people to be like, hey, I definitely want to do business within that country. Because as of now, there's so many other places that still have better policies. Reportedly, Kim asserted that the financial regulators may bring amendments to the anti-money laundering rules in an effort to attract international crypto investors. He also noted that the current conditions may be revised if exchanges meet the required anti-money laundering standards. Cool. Currently, South Korea has imposed restrictions on foreign investors entering the local crypto market. The country's crypto regulations mandate stringent know your customer requirements for service providers, restricting international traders. Why? Why would you make sure that this new market that's appearing, why would you make sure that no one would want to go to your country and do business? Then 10 years down the line, people, hello, I'm still at this other place that has 0% taxes. Why would I? Anyway, cool. I think this was meant to be major news. I'm not sure exactly what it was supposed to be, but this is why, I don't have it here, and I'm not going to show you either. You can find it if you want. There was something a couple days ago. One of the head monetary policy people within Nigeria announced that I think he said that cryptocurrencies are securities and they're going to put more restrictions. And I'm like, you don't want business. You don't want money. You don't want people to like actually like, let's go to that country. It's a really weird kind of thing. But as I stated, back in 2018, I was like, the countries who get this right are going to get all the money. You can't try to change your laws now after 7 years and go, money, right. No, come here. No. Why would I do that? Anyway, yeah, anyway, I'll move on from here. But if you look at a number of countries, their current policies against people moving there, living there, and doing business there are changing rapidly as people realize that we're not in the 1920s anymore. So good luck to them. That's that news. Let's move on. Also sure, why not? A company by the name of Inishco ENISHCO is a Japanese gaming firm behind a blockchain game called Delith Last Memories. Okay. Has announced their first Bitcoin purchase worth 100 million yen. According to a recently published document, Inishco stated that it would allocate 100 million yen, or $700,000 of company funds to buy Bitcoin. The Japanese firm stated that they would be purchasing these things around early April. Cool. Another company in the news. We have them all the time. It's usually daily that we end up having a new one. We've never heard of this one before, but we'll see how intense they actually get with it. This is how MetaPlanet started, for those of you who don't know. MetaPlanet started out by accumulating, I think it was like 300,000 worth of Bitcoin, and people were like, cool, amazing. And then they completely fell down the rabbit hole and announced that they would be taking like billions of dollars against their own company as they're trying to get to 21,000 Bitcoin. So cool. Another company. Let's see if we end up hearing from them again, because usually like the big purchases end up making it into the news. So, you know, if they do this again, we'll hear from them, or especially if they start doing in the millions and millions worth of US dollars. That's the Inishco news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in, sure, why not? You do what you need to do. Visa is once again in the news. Visa has announced their plans to launch a Visa tokenized asset platform called VTAP, terrible, on the Ethereum blockchain, aimed at enabling banks to issue and manage fiat-backed tokens. The platform is set to go live later this year, indicating a notable move towards institutional adoption. There have always been since 2016. This is why we have the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, which a lot of people don't talk about or don't know about or don't care to talk about, because people keep pretending that all this stuff isn't happening. And it is the weirdest thing in the entire world. No matter how many times I've talked about the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, or shown people or told them, for those of you who do not know, there are over 500 mega gigantic companies who have been working with Ethereum since 2016. Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan Chase, you name it. Really, Microsoft, you look at the list of companies who are either building on top of Ethereum, plan on using Ethereum, you name it, across the board. This is not a move towards institutional adoption. They've been doing this for a long time. BlackRock is doing the exact same thing. BlackRock is also building on top of Ethereum, and they have been doing it for a while. It's just that the public gets this news 7 times, and then it finally ends up becoming big news. We keep hearing about this over and over and over. No, this is always going to be a thing. We've heard for years from JP Morgan Chase the idea of the tokenization of assets. We've heard it from Bank of America. We've heard it from Grayscale. We've heard it from BlackRock. We've heard it from Visa. We've heard it from MasterCard. And can you guess which blockchain that they're using? Yes, it's Ethereum. It's the same news over and over and over. That's the craziest part of why I find so funny personally. This like negative sentiment that keeps rolling through Twitter or through the internet every time, especially if Ethereum ends up falling down lower in price. You could have the crappiest coins in the Milky Way falling by 74%, and people are still talking about buying Dogecoin. People are still talking about Tron and all these other nonsense, and they look at Ethereum and go, Ethereum's garbage. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. And it's incredibly sad. Right. Even the next sentence. This initiative comes amid growing concerns regarding centralization. Nope, that's also incorrect. Whoever wrote this article, you're an idiot. That is also incredibly incorrect, because you know what actually has a huge amount of centralization? It's Bitcoin. Yes, Almost 95% of all the coins are held by a certain amount of wallets. Do you want to know why? It's because over the course of a 16-year period, people keep entering the market and then leaving the market whenever the prices go down. Rich people buy up all the coins when the prices go down. The prices go back up and people look at the wallet addresses and they go, why do the whales have all the coins? It's the same exact reason why they own all the houses and they own all the land and they own all the lakes and they own all the buildings and all these other things. It's basically because you give it to them. No one looks into what crypto is. No one looks into what Ethereum is. No one looks into actual partnerships. It's all this nonsensical BS about people talking about, oh my gosh, is Dogecoin going to get put on Twitter? And it's like, you're paying attention to if this coin is going to get put onto Twitter as a payment option that no one is going to use, as opposed to the 500 companies who are building and using and accumulating Ether and Ethereum. How many of you just heard me say that Visa is building a tokenization platform on Ethereum and you could care less because you still don't get it? You still refuse to understand what's happening in this market. Remember when I said before in the future, and once, I mean, we can even go back to good old 2017. I said the people who buy and stay in this market and understand what's going on are going to be the people who succeed and who make it. It's 2025. In 2035, the people who are here right now, who understand what's going on, do you understand what the asset tokenization platform is? Do you want to know why BlackRock is doing the same thing? Why MasterCard is doing the same thing? Why JP Morgan Chase is also making an asset tokenization thing on top of Ethereum? The idea is that in the future, we will basically be able to tokenize or digitize all forms of value. Anything that you want to digitize or monetize in some sort of way will be able to be blockchainized. It goes literally from a computer screen to a Pokemon card to a diamond to an entire house. As all major asset classes are bought up and accumulated, the dystopian idea is that in the future, everyone who's not paying attention now is gonna realize that they missed out, so they'll want to get in on the game in the future. But guess what? You can't even afford a studio apartment because you weren't paying attention before, and therefore the only way to do it now is someone tokenizes it and basically says, you can buy 1/100th of this studio apartment for X amount of money. From that money, as it's on a tokenized platform, you will be able to receive literal rental income from the thing that's actually on the blockchain. You will be able to say, hey, I own 1/1000th of this diamond or 1/1000th of this thing that I believe has value, and you'll be able to trade with it. It's literally the fractionalization of fractionalization. You know how like you have an entire Bitcoin and that equates to 100 million Satoshis? That's kind of the idea. All banks and institutions think that this is going to literally be the future of finance in its entirety, that everything will exist on blockchains, and they're all building their platforms on Ethereum, which means that the majority of the assets on the planet from Visa and MasterCard and BlackRock will be on Ethereum. I don't know. I sometimes it's a lot, guys. It's really a lot. I'm very worried for people in general. I know people who, I met this guy one time and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. I don't know where all of you live. You know how like sometimes when you walk into the subway, the train station, the metro, wherever you live, and you see like those pamphlets and stuff, like, you know, like they'll have not the newspapers that people sometime are used to hand out, but you'll see like those pamphlets around that like will give you like a timetable or show you like the map or something. This isn't a joke. I met this guy years ago. He collected those. He had thousands of them from every city he went to, and even the city he was living in. He was just collecting them. And I was like, why? He was like, because these are investments. He said in the future, people will want these. And I was like, what are, he said, no, like they'll be like collector's items. He was referencing like if you have like a metro map from 120 years ago, or like some of the first whatever, he's like, yeah, because everyone throws these away. And I was like, what? Do you remember this? I didn't even know how to find this. If you can find this, you're a genius. There's a video, it has to be on YouTube. This guy got lotto winnings. This must have been over a decade ago. He had at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 million. It's a huge, abundant amount of money. I sat there and my first thought, if you ever have a windfall, is you buy property. You buy real estate. You buy rental properties to get a cash flow going. Do you know what this man bought? He bought CDs. He bought compact discs. If you can find that video, like I said, you're a genius. He was buying every CD he could online. Do you know why? Because he thought they would become collector's items. He thought that these things would triple, quadruple, 50x in value now. Because people would be like, oh, how retro, how cool, how awesome. And they would want to buy CDs. It got so bad. This isn't a joke. It got so bad. If I find it, I'll post it on Twitter. He started hiring people to work in his house so that they could buy CDs for him even quicker. And I remember watching and I was like, he's going to be so broke. He's going to be so devastated. No matter what logic tells you, you do the opposite. There was you can probably find this. There was a TV show from TLC. This was also years ago. I want to say 10, 15 years ago. This woman also had a windfall. And she was talking about she wanted to buy investments so that when her daughter got older, she could sell the investments and use them to go to college. This woman was buying Disney figurines. This is a real story. This isn't a joke. You have, and I say this with the strongest conviction. You have stocks. You have, I say, bonds. You have bonds that would literally give you a better return. I understand all those years ago, she might not have, crypto, cool. 15 years ago, got it. You have real estate. You even had gold back then. Wasn't gold like $1,000 or something dollars? She could have bought nothing but gold and silver coins. And some of those coins also appreciate further if they have like a year or something on them. They'll have like a bird on them and it says 2016. In the future, it ends up being worth more because it has extra collector value because of the year. I'm not joking. She had like this display case and it was Disney figurines. And she was like, I spent like $200,000. And I grabbed my face out of shock, out of pure like sadness. Like, what are you talking about? You think your child is going to become 18 and have time to sell thousands of figurines that have increased by $5 each? She's going to have a yard sale. Can you please buy these things that my mother bought after she had a windfall so I can go to school? What's the shininess of seeing all these other coins, all these other altcoins? I've tried for years to get, and it's so, I told you before, I've gotten, I think 3 or 4, that's not a joke, 3 or 4 people in the last decade to properly invest in crypto. Everyone else who got into it, or even now, when people ask me, like friends, or like, at some point, there's like a light bulb that goes off in their head and they go, maybe I should start investing. And they tell me that they found these coins and they threw $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 into it. And it's these meme coins that they heard about on Twitter. And I'm like, why would you do that? You don't throw $10,000 at the stock market into some penny stocks because you read them in an article. So like, it doesn't make any sense. That's not research. These companies have no value. Why would you do that? You know nothing about dividends. You know nothing about increased dividends over the course of a 70-year period. You're just not paying attention. Remember, this was 2 months ago during like the beginning descent of the cryptocurrency market and prices. And we were getting news even while Ether was going down in price that the wallet address that is associated with Trump was buying up 10, 30, 40, 50 million dollars worth of Ether all the time. And I was like, because they know that all the institutions are into it. Why do you think the same coins are constantly in the news? I'm not gatekeeping some garbage from you. There's no new coin on the market that, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to tell anyone because I want that garbage for myself. Why do you think Visa's choosing Ethereum? Why do you think we're constantly having conversations about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This keeps happening over and over. For the fraction of you who are actually out there paying attention, you will be just fine. You are going to excel. You are going to make tons of money. I promise you. Everyone else, man, I don't know what's going on. I told you all that before. Everyone was trash talking Ethereum. I'm like, you know who's using this? Do you know what this chain is for? This isn't some randomized thing. The idea is that we are going to tokenize everything in the future. It will all exist like this level of provenance will exist on blockchains. This is literally, for those of you who haven't caught on yet, these are NFTs. You think of NFTs as some kind of like a monkey or whatever the case might be. No, it is something that shows that you own something. It is a certificate of authenticity that this actually exists. So as you fractionalize or digitize or tokenize the diamond or a home, it exists as an NFT that is non-fungible. Only one of that thing exists, and it can be fractionalized on the blockchain. Do you understand what's happening? Do you understand how much the world is changing? Do you know we would have fought a bear in the street, bare knuckles, back in 2017 to hear that Visa was doing anything on Ethereum or even mentioned in the future? We might look at the word Ethereum and rub our chins thinking about it. This is some of like the crazy, like when you talk about actual institutional adoption, this is it. Well, as we continue daily, continuously receive incredible cryptocurrency adoption news, I can only hope that people are actually paying attention. Otherwise, the people who do pay attention, as always, are going to take all the money. Everyone else, may God bless you and may you have good fortune, because I don't really know what to do anymore. I'm seeing this was a couple days ago. There was like a weird spike in prices, and all I saw immediately, it was literally like garbage coming from the sky. People were talking about meme coins again. People were talking about these coins that have no value, and this coin is dropping, and put your money in this. And I was like, what is going on? This is okay. Well, sure. I hope you all are doing well. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.